There's a silent structure beneath everything, older than speech and deeper than memory. It's not random, not chaotic. It's designed. An invisible architecture, quietly guiding the shape of all things. And at the core of this design lies a single number, 4, not 5. Not 10, always 4. You weren't placed into randomness. You emerged from alignment. Everything around you speaks this number, though most never hear it. Every stage of life moves through 4 phases: beginning, expansion, mastery, return. These aren't just periods, they're transformations coded into reality. The Earth doesn't simply orbit. It transitions through 4 distinct seasons, each carrying its own lesson, its own invitation for inner reflection. Wind flows across 4 paths: north, south, east, west, each direction holding a specific energy, a shift in awareness. Inside your form, 4 elemental forces shape your being. Earth forms your physical structure, your skeleton, your breath, your flesh. Water carries your inner tides, emotion, sensitivity, recollection. Fire is the engine of thought, imagination, focus, decision. Air, unseen but always present, is your inner connection to the divine, intuition, clarity, vision. These aren't abstract concepts. They're systems encoded into your existence. Even the scientific world, often distant from spiritual frameworks, cannot escape the same pattern. It defines 4 fundamental states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, plasma. 4 interactions that govern all particles: gravity, electromagnetism, strong force, weak force. And the DNA inside your cells? It's built from 4 molecular characters: adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. These aren't accidents, they're evidence. Everything you know, everything you are, everything you witness, from the cosmos overhead to the thoughts within, follows this sacred rhythm. It's not superstition, it's structure. 4 is not just a number, it's the imprint of something greater etched into the core of existence. Once you see it, you begin to remember, you begin to align. This is not chaos, this is order in its most elegant form. Look upward, and the moon tells its story, not through words but in movement. Its face shifts through 4 distinct forms: hidden, growing, full, fading. These changes aren't just in the sky, they echo within you. Every phase mirrors an inner transformation, pulling on tides both oceanic and emotional. When you rest, it's not sleep alone that arrives. Your consciousness travels, passing through 4 energetic landscapes, each with its own depth, each unlocking a new layer of who you are. From alertness to dreaming, from imagination to unity. These states aren't random, they're maps. Ancient peoples understood this. That's why they honored the number 4 in everything sacred. Temples shaped with 4 entrances, wheels of medicine divided into 4 paths, stars and rivers marked in cardinal formation. To them, aligning with this structure wasn't ritual, it was survival, harmony, but much of this wisdom has been cast aside. The original pattern, broken, hidden, replaced by systems that dissect instead of connect. The soul pulled from the body, intellect separated from feeling, spirit treated as fiction. The design was scattered, and yet the pattern persists. It waits in your heartbeat. It lingers in the silence between moments. It hides in your breath and reveals itself in the stillness most ignore. It's never gone. It only requires your attention. And once you notice it again, something shifts. That's when you start recognizing the connections, how external shifts mirror internal changes, why seasons impact emotions, why memories respond to energy more than thought, why cycles keep repeating until acknowledged. Everything responds to rhythm, even your biology. Recognizing the 4-fold structure is not about returning to ancient beliefs. It's about reclaiming your inner compass. No more drifting through confusion, instead walking in rhythm with a greater intelligence, a law beyond man-made logic. This is not about superstition or poetic theory. It's the core operating system of your life, hidden in plain sight. 4 elements, 4 stages, 4 forces, 4 directions, 4 keys. This isn't mythology, it's memory. And once you begin seeing the world through this lens, you no longer feel separate from it. You recognize yourself within it. Step inward, past the skin, beneath thought. There you'll find the layered structure that makes you who you are. You've been told you are a body, or perhaps a mind, maybe even a soul, but the truth is, you're all of it, woven together in perfect symmetry, 4 parts, 4 dimensions, 4 expressions of one essence. Your physical body is the anchor. It connects you to gravity, to movement, to breath. It's not just flesh, it's memory, lineage, presence. Bones carry stories. Muscles hold experience. This form allows you to interact with the visible world, and yet it is only one layer of who you are. Then there is emotion, the flowing energy that speaks without words. This is the water of your being. It moves through you as feeling, responding to sound, memory, presence. Emotions are not weakness, they are intelligence in motion. Like the sea, they store what logic forgets. Every joy, sorrow, fear, and ecstasy leaves an imprint here. When ignored, this layer floods. When honored, it heals. Next comes thought, the spark, the fire, the force that builds and destroys. Your mind is not just a place of ideas. It's a furnace where belief becomes structure. Each mental pattern is an architect designing experience. Words shape reality. Focus ignites transformation. Scatter the flame, and you burn in confusion. Focus it, and you illuminate the path forward. Above them all, yet flowing through every part, is your spiritual self. Air, the unseen breeze that whispers guidance. It's your inner compass, the voice behind silence, the presence that knows, without explanation. It cannot be held or measured, but when you pause, you feel it, in dreams, in synchronicities, in moments that feel like truth. These aren't just poetic frames, they are real, dynamic systems, layers interwoven, not separate. The body grounds. Emotion moves. Mind creates, spirit connects. When one misaligns, dissonance appears. When all 4 harmonize, you become a force, clear, whole, unstoppable. But it doesn't end there. Inside every strand of your biology lies encoded language, DNA. Not merely a chemical sequence, but a sacred transmission, a living bridge between energy and matter. And what composes this code? 4 components: adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. Each one resonates with an elemental layer. Earth supports, water receives, fire commands, air remembers, science sees, molecules. But the ancients saw symbols, and these symbols live in you, not passively but interactively. DNA responds to sound, light, emotion, thought. It's not a static formula. It adapts, listens, evolves. That's why intention shifts biology, why love can restore, why trauma can distort. Vibration rewrites structure. You also contain 4 central energetic centers, points where the body and the invisible realms intersect. At the root, Earth governs stability. When secure, you stand strong. When blocked, you feel ungrounded. At the heart, water governs attraction. Open it, and you radiate connection. Shut it, and you repeat pain. In your inner vision, fire burns as clarity, guidance beyond logic. And above, air opens the channel to all that lies beyond thought. These aren't ideas, they're living mechanisms. When one center fails, others strain. When all align, energy flows. Manifestation accelerates. Life begins to reflect your wholeness. This isn't mystical fantasy. It's precision. It's ancient science. And it starts by asking, which part have you forgotten? What part of you has gone silent? Because when all four awaken, you stop living in pieces and begin moving as the whole. Let's shift focus to something often misunderstood. Your brain. Not just a mass of neurons or a data processor, but an instrument tuned to unseen frequencies. It's not just storing memories, it's translating dimensions. Think of it not as a container, but a gateway. At its core, the mind is a multidimensional bridge connecting form and formless, waking thought and subtle awareness. And just like all things governed by natural design, it operates through a fourfold system. These are not philosophical concepts. They are functional states. First comes beta, the domain of logic and language. Here, you engage, react, respond. It's the state you spend most of your day in, focused, alert, solving problems. But it's also the territory of stress, noise, and mental fatigue. It keeps you externally locked, distracted by tasks and tension. This is the surface. Then you slip into alpha, where awareness softens. The thinking slows. Creativity and imagination rise. Here, emotion is heard. Intuition begins to whisper. This is the bridge between conscious control and the field of potential. Art, music, reflection, peace, all live here. Alpha makes space for sensation, for memory, for alignment. Go further and you arrive at theta. This is deep territory. The subconscious speaks here, not in sentences but in images, symbols, emotions. In this state, change becomes possible. Old patterns surface, new paths emerge. It's the place where beliefs shift, where healing begins, where visions appear. Children naturally dwell here, absorbing the world without filter. At the deepest level is delta, slow, still, profound. Not just sleep, but connection. In this realm, the physical body rests, but awareness expands. Messages arrive, restoration occurs. Some call it communion with the unseen, others call it revelation. It's not passive, it's powerful. Many never touch delta while awake, but those who do speak of stillness that changes everything. Each of these four layers represents a gateway to a different part of who you are. Beta for body, alpha for emotion, theta for the subconscious mind, delta for spirit. And yet most people stay locked in beta, racing thoughts, shallow breath, constant stimulation. Not by accident, but by design. Because a distracted mind is easier to steer. When you're always reacting, you never direct, but that's not your only option. As you become more aware, you begin noticing these shifts. A calm sensation spreading across your chest. That's alpha waking. An inner image flashing across your mind. Theta just opened. A moment of silence that feels infinite. You've brushed delta. The brain isn't bound by bone. It reaches beyond the skull, shaping and being shaped by everything you feel and focus on. It receives, but it also sends. It holds your frequency and shapes the field around you. Once you learn to navigate these states, life stops happening to you and starts responding through you. So practice, shift, breathe, tune in. You were never meant to stay behind one door. You were designed to move through all four, not because the mind is limited, but because it's the interface for the infinite. Let's unravel something most people accept without question, the nature of time. You've been taught it moves in a straight line, past behind, future ahead, present in the middle. But what if that's not how it truly works? Time isn't a river pulling you along. It's more like a field you navigate. A multi-dimensional space where everything exists at once, layered and alive. You aren't stuck inside it. You move through it by the choices you make and the energy you carry. The illusion that events are fixed, that the past can't change and the future hasn't happened, is one of the greatest limitations ever imposed. If they convince you you're bound to what's already occurred, or that what's coming is uncertain, they keep you stuck, waiting, hesitating, looping. But that's not the whole picture. The truth is layered. The past isn't gone. It lingers as energy. Every habit, every wound, every belief you carry from before, still active, still shaping the present moment unless consciously released. You don't just recall past experiences, you radiate their frequency. Until those patterns are cleared, they keep drawing you into repetition, not because you're cursed, but because the vibration hasn't shifted. And yet that vibration can be altered. The moment you reinterpret the memory, feel it differently, or break the emotional charge, it transforms. The loop breaks. Time bends. The present is where power lives. Not just a clock tick, but a dimension of total influence. This is where reality is sculpted. Most people rarely stay here. Their minds drift to what already happened or what might occur. But when you anchor into this instant, completely calmly, you regain authorship. Here you create. Here you choose. This is the command center of all outcomes. The future isn't waiting somewhere out of reach. It already exists in countless forms. Every decision, belief, expectation shifts your alignment to one of those possibilities. You're not walking into fate. You're tuning into outcomes. Think of the future as a frequency you dial into with your present vibration. What you feel now becomes what you experience next. If fear dominates your field, you attract delay. If you hold trust, things flow. If you expect struggle, you meet it. The future doesn't respond to desire alone. It answers coherence. And beyond all of it is the most elusive layer, timelessness. This isn't theory, it's a state. When thought pauses and presence becomes full, time vanishes. In meditation, in deep stillness during moments that feel eternal, you enter a space where everything is now. The past, the future, all accessible, all simultaneous. This realm holds no rush. No countdown, no deadlines, just infinite potential. When you access it, healing is instant. Insight arrives without effort. Manifestation shortens its path. You aren't bound, you're centered. Call it the 0 point. Call it the void. Whatever the name, it's not absence. It's fullness. And when you begin living from this awareness, time obeys you, not the other way around. Moments stretch, hours compress. Reality reshapes itself around your presence. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you chose to be, positioned to remember your ability to influence time itself. The lie of linearity dissolves. What once felt like fate reveals itself as choice. The future isn't coming. It's responding. And the clock, it was never in control. You were. You've reached a threshold. You've seen the pattern, felt the shifts, remembered the code etched into your being. But understanding alone doesn't transform anything. This is the part where knowledge becomes motion, where insight turns into embodiment. Wisdom doesn't exist to be admired. It exists to be used. Now standing at the edge of the known, 4 truths await. They're not theories, they're activators. Touch them, and everything begins to respond differently. But once you see them clearly, there's no going back to limitation. No more pretending you don't know. No more handing away your power. First key, time isn't fixed, it's fluid. You've been taught to see it like a line, like something you must follow. But time is not ahead of you, it's something you influence. Through attention, you change. How it behaves. That's why you can feel years in a second or hours stretch endlessly. The illusion is that time moves you. The truth? You're the one generating it. When you stop treating the past as permanent, when you view the future as resonance, you begin to shift timelines intentionally. Time doesn't unfold, it aligns. You're not aging the way they told you. You're tuning into a new rhythm every moment. Second key, where your focus goes, reality grows. Your attention isn't neutral, it's creative. Every time you return to an idea, a vision, a thought, you're charging it. When you pour energy into fear, it expands. When you keep revisiting lack, it multiplies. But if you feed a new direction with clarity and emotion, life begins to reshape itself around it. Creation isn't about force, it's about frequency. Your attention is a spotlight. Point it where you want growth. Speak to what you want, not what you fear. Emotion is your amplifier. Coherence is your magnet. The field listens to your consistency, not your doubt. Third key, you're not in the universe. The universe expresses through you. Your world is shaped from the inside out, not by what happens externally, but by how you define yourself. If you identify as limited, your environment reflects it. But when you embody sovereignty, everything around you rearranges. Reality isn't responding to what you say you want. It's responding to who you believe you are. Shift your self-image, and the structure shifts with you. You're not waiting for anything, you're declaring it through being. Every thought, every posture, every choice sends a signal. That signal becomes your surroundings. Fourth key, the system can't control you if you stop feeding it. Control isn't sustained through force, it survives through permission. The matrix operates on agreement. Every time you obey fear, every time you wait for approval, every time you accept its boundaries, you're reinforcing its grip. But when you withdraw your consent, the illusion begins to crumble. You don't need to fight it. You need to unplug. Say no to the noise. Stop acting from survival. Reclaim your own authority. You are not here to fit in a program. You're here to rewrite the script. These 4 truths are not concepts to memorize. They are living keys designed to be activated. When they're applied, you stop spinning in circles. You stop delaying your potential. You stop outsourcing your reality to systems that were never made for your expansion. You start moving like someone who remembers, and everything starts shifting in response.